Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence. I am Chris.
I am Audra.
I am Tony.
I am Lauren.
And I am Chris Allgood.
He's back today.
You can't do that without telling them where that comes from.
Yeah, he has Superman shirts. When we met for the first time, we were in the same room together for a whole weekend, which was beyond awesome. In Gettysburg at the Battlefield Bash, and he had his Superman shirt on a couple of times. I went, you know what? That's you. That's really him.
Justice League.
And Audra is every bit Alice in Wonderland as we thought. It was fantastic. Like when we met Tony and Cherie for the first time when we were with Tony and Cherie, it was the same thing. It was just awesome to be in the same room and share experiences and what we do with them. It was great.
Yes. Awesome.
So cool. So cool.
You got to tell them about the Justice League.
Oh yeah, he had this on. That's just fun. I could do this for the whole show.
That's what I was thinking.
He had this on his shirt when we did direct radio voice Saturday night. Hey, Katie. Along with Steve Dills and Megan and Chris from Transcend Paranormal, and Giuseppe from Seekers Club, us two, Chris and Audra, Carrie Hopper, and Laura. And one of the things it said, I don't know what we were asking or discussing, but one of the things that came out of the direct radio voice very clearly was Justice League.
Yeah, we asked what shirt or something he was wearing.
Chris, was that? That wasn't okay. That was
A symbol or something.
Yeah,
what symbol?
Yeah.
What symbol does Chris have on his shirt? And they said Justice League.
Justice League.
It was phenomenal.
It was that. So I did this today, arts and crafts. It's in the budget, Tony. Look it up. I have it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
So it was awesome.
Funny. It was an awesome weekend. Gettysburg Battlefield Bash was phenomenal.
Does not disappoint.
Does not disappoint. Gettysburg itself did not disappoint at all.
And they raised over $18,000 for the
I was
troops.
just about to say that.
Nice.
They raised over $18,000.
That's fantastic.
I know. Amazing job.
Pam and Steve Barry do a phenomenal job at showing the community what selflessness and passion look like when you put them together.
Yep.
That's true. That's true.
So, Ron, explain what you mean by for the troops. So everybody watching what Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is for.
We're not good. No.
It's for Wounded Warriors, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
it's for Wounded Warriors. Yep.
So everything they collect at the door, everything they collect from the silent, well, it wasn't silent. They were yelling.
It was a loud
The auction, everything they collect at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash, they go straight towards the Wounded Warriors. So that's phenomenal. So if anybody can make it up next year, we will be back next year. Ron and Lourdes will be back next year. Tony and Cherie will be back next year.
Yeah.
And when we say every single dime, nothing goes to them. Every single dime goes to our the veterans. Yep.
Yeah, that's just fantastic. I mean, you can't ask for it's one of the greatest events I hear out there, and then to turn around and be able to give back to. I mean, that's just fantastic of them.
And to be honest, a shout out to Anthony Simonelli was with us also. Chris Cesare, the Ghost Boy at Geneseo, who we have to get on. He's phenomenal. I got the honor of lecturing with him on Friday night. It was one of the most fun times I've ever had.
It was phenomenal.
Speaking to an audience. And also, worth mentioning, the resident skeptic of our industry, Kenny Biddle, did a lot for charity. He went in the dunk tank knowing that everybody wants to dunk the skeptic, and he raised some good money.
He sure did.
He raised some money by people throwing the ball to try to, and he mocks you and makes fun of you to get you to do it. He did it to me. We put some money in the bank towards the till, so.
He's a good example that we can have different opinions and still work together.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's fantastic of him. Absolutely.
I admired what he did a lot. I admired what he did a lot.
The bash is in July next year, Carrie said.
Okay.
It is.
And we got to meet Carrie's mom.
Carrie's
Yeah.
mom.
We did.
Carrie's mom.
Nancy
Not
Hoppa.
Not only did we bring home some T-shirts and some memories, we brought home tonight's guest.
That's right.
We did.
I got to hug Mary Jo.
That's right.
So excited.
So let me see if I can read through this without screwing this up. So everybody coming on tonight is Mary Jo Chudley. Mary Jo is a paranormal investigator from Penn Paranormal. She's been into the supernatural since she was a child and lived across the street from a cemetery. The neighbors were very quiet.
That would be nice.
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes.
She bought her first house in 1998, and little did she know the property her house was on and the surrounding area was haunted. She spent most of her time as a young adult learning about the paranormal to help her community out that was having so many issues with the paranormal. Throughout the years, she has collected extraordinary evidence and worked with the biggest paranormal investigators and the most haunted places in America. She was featured on Travel Channel's paranormal TV show, A Haunting with Their Haunted and Demonic Dolls, and by the end of 2022, she appeared on Destination Fear, Paranormal Caught on Camera, America's Most Terrifying, and Haunted Hospitals with all of her evidence she has captured. She will be on a new TV show coming this fall called Haunted Objects. She has over 20 confirmed haunted objects in her house, placed in one room. Thank God you don't want to spread those out.
Up and down the hall, the stairs.
Staring at you when you're in the bathroom.
Yeah. What kind of drapes go with evil?
Black, maybe?
Yeah.
She doesn't let anyone into her house because of her objects, and she has 500 objects in the Pine Bush UFO Museum in New York.
Oh.
And in their spare time, her and her husband make customized REM pods that are different from anyone else. So everybody say hello to Mary Jo.
Hi guys.
Hello, Mary Jo.
How are you?
Good.
Well,
Nice to see you again. So tell us, what about living across the street from that cemetery or in that haunted house got you hooked on the paranormal and said, this is what I want to do and I want to collect haunted crap that scares the hell out of people?
When I was a child, I hated it. So, I mean, just seeing things come up the steps all the time. Nobody else can see them but me. I moved out of there when I was 13 and then moved into the house that, my parents own, obviously. Then when I moved out, that's when I bought a haunted house, but it was in a historical area. But the first couple of weeks of me being there, that's when we start noticing stuff, like really bad things. So when I went to the police department, asked him if there's anything happened in that area, he told me it was a satanic area. I'm like, this is great. But back then in 98, there was no TV shows, no nothing. So it's like you kind of had to figure out on your own, and the churches really didn't help you back then. I mean, don't get me wrong, my pastor came out and he blessed the house and everything, but there was stuff I still had to do, and I just chased it out of my house and it went to our neighbor's house. So that's kind of how I got into it, and kind of helping our neighborhood. But again, back then people really didn't talk about their houses being haunted either. Right. It was very quiet,
Yeah. Here's your quart of milk back.
I do not want any sugar from you. Thank you.
Right. Well, it's funny because the kids in the neighborhood started talking about it. That's how everybody kind of knew, like, my house was haunted and I got rid of it. And my kids would talk about the same entity, the same name. And that's how it kind of, I didn't go to like the door, hey, do you have a ghost in there? No, it's kind of like our kids were talking in school. And then they said, did you have this, person named Marky in your house? I said, yeah. And they said, can you help me? I can't get rid of it. It's like tormenting my kids. I'm like, yeah. So that's kind of how it went on. The kids actually talked about it, not the adults.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The adults are telling the kids to stay away from that house. Don't
Yeah.
go there.
So Mary Jo is a good follow-up too, because we've asked this before. When people have experiences like similar or like yours, very much like yours, we have, as human beings, the fight or flight reaction thing to it. And so for a lot of people, it would have been to run as far from paranormal and as close to basket weaving as possible. That's not what you did.
Right. I didn't have a choice because it was in our neighborhood. Like the whole neighborhood was haunted with this one entity that nobody could get rid of.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, I didn't have a choice at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was scared to death because I didn't know anything about it. We played church music, Christian music constantly playing in my house. And it was like, yeah, it was bad because like you just thought it was evil back then. And then when my dad passed away 2 years later, and then he starts showing me signs and start doing things, and I'm like, wait a minute, it's not really that bad. I'm not as scared. You know, so then I got a little bit more with communicating with him through pictures and candles, and because we didn't have the toys we have now, so it's kind of like we had to do with pictures and stuff and videos, and you know, Dad, if you're here, you know, can you pull my hair? And all of a sudden I feel this. So, but I knew it was him. Like I had this feeling. I knew that warmth. I knew it was my dad. I knew it wasn't something else. But that's how I really started getting into it when he died, because I knew, you know, there's life after death, because he was teaching me that there is life after death.
Right.
Were you able? I'm sorry, I was gonna say, were you able to ever get rid of that entity in your neighborhood, or is it still like there?
I moved out of that house probably in 2010 because my mom was selling my childhood home, and my dad already passed away, obviously, and I wanted to buy that because I wanted to keep that in our family. So I did sell that house and buy this house. But as far as I know, when I lived in my house, it stayed out of my house. But the people next to us, they were having a lot of issues mentally. And I know that they were going to them, and the people on the other side were alcoholics. And I know they were going to them because, again, the kids were talking because they were in school, and they're like, you know, we have this thing in our house we can't get rid of. But I didn't want to go over there. And, you know, I said, well, just tell your parents if they need me, let me know. But they weren't, I don't know, it just seemed like that entity kept on going to them, but they weren't very good people, if that makes sense. Yeah. You know, so that's why we stick to the other people that were in the neighborhood. Yet after we did our things, it stayed out of their house.
Got it. Yeah.
Which was good, you know, but we never knew if it was pure evil, but it was a child. So a 4-year-old child, but this 4-year-old child also picked up my 4-year-old child and threw it against the wall.
Wow.
So I don't think a child would have done that.
Right.
In my opinion, I don't think a child would have done that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's what scared me. I was more scared of death than anything. But then again, I think my dad taught me something a little different. Like, hey, listen, it's all not evil, you know?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is pretty cool and scary at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, the dad thing is cool.
The dad thing
the
is
other
cool,
thing
yeah.
not so much.
That's no cool. No cool.
Yeah, well, there's the balance you don't always get on TV. When you get the side of it that can be dark and can be scary.
Right.
You don't always get the other half of that. And that's important, because just like life as we know it, it ain't all bad. It ain't all good, or is it?
I am.
Really, that's the truth. You know, that's a fair balance, a representation of, you know.
But it's also a more accurate balance, because let's face it,
right.
TV doesn't portray anything in balance, or for that matter, even in reality. But you know, they're always after the worst of the worst, the demonic, the worst case scenarios, and you know, then you got shows that run into it every week. But it's not like that in reality. It's just not.
No. I mean, honestly, Mary Jo, that sounds pretty dark. So you ran into it there, but in reality, in the 25 years I've been investigating, I think I've run into it maybe once or twice. Something really dark. The rest of it's just, hey, the guy was an asshole in real life. He's an asshole after he's dead. It just appears to be dark, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask Mary Jo a question too that would be pertinent to what we all just experienced together, which was the Battlefield Bash. And a lot of times guests we have on all participate in expos and events like this, but I don't know if this is something we really normally ask though. What do you find most common when people come up to you, whether they recognize you or not? I'm sure many do, at your table, at an event like we were just at, and what do they come up most commonly to either ask or share with you? Do they tell you stories? Do they want to know what you went through? Like, what's the most common thing you encounter with the public?
They do say that their house is haunted, or they have pictures of, you know, of stuff that they've caught. But a lot of them for this weekend, it was a lot of them that already had haunted objects. So they were saying, and a lot of them wanted to touch mine. And to me, that's a big no-no. I'm very protective of my stuff. very protective of it. I mean, I let one person hold it, and after I did, I thought it would be a okay idea. And after I did, I got this really bad gut feeling that Gretchen, which is her name is actually Mary, it's the spirit Mary, but I call her Gretchen. I got this really bad pain in my stomach, like don't ever do that again, you know. And so yeah, it's just, but everybody wants to touch it. I have a satanic Bible that I got from my house, and a guy literally went to go grab it out of the case, and I literally went bam and smacked his hand. I'm like, nope. It's in a case and I felt terrible after I did it. Like, it's in a case for a reason. Do not open it. I mean, usually people ask, you know, but most of them were just like, I have haunted objects, but they're like, they don't feel like these, which makes sense because each object has a different energy to it. But yeah, most of them were telling me that they had a haunted objects and what they found, what they've done. They've asked me like what my most haunted locations were. So it's basically always the same thing over and over. It's usually always the same thing, you know. For me, it is, you know. And they also ask, is the TV show true? They said, did that really happen? And I'm honest with people. I am probably the most honest person. I will tell you if it's true or not. Certain little spots in that show is not true. And I told the producers, like, listen, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So if it's not true, I have to tell people because that's just how I am. So there's one part that wasn't true, but I understand why they had to do it because they didn't want to portray as domestic violence. So they just portrayed that the doll beat the crap out of Bill, made him lay on the floor, and I walked over him. But that didn't happen. But I told them I would tell people, and they were okay with that. And they told me, well, we had to put that in there to make it look not so bad, I guess you would say. So, which I understand why they did it, you know. But I always tell people that, you know, if they ask me if that story is real, I say absolutely, except for that one part, you know.
And we saw Katie Holte commented that you seem very genuine. That's the number one thing. We agree. That's one of the reasons we wanted to have you on. And side note, Katie and Steve Holte, I had your ghost boxes on my table at the Gettysburg Bash. And people were asking about ghost boxes, and a lot of people took pictures of where it says Holte Paranormal so they could go find one. So let me know if people buy them.
That's right. Well, really cool. And, you know, Mary Jo sent in a ton of stuff. And and you said, I just wanted you to pick and choose. I couldn't, so I just put it all.
Well, we'll talk fast.
So we're going to start with the images, and the images are the ones of the mirror.
Okay.
So I'm going to show.
Hello, user of Facebook.
Tell us where you got this mirror, Mary Jo.
Oh, shoot.
So this mirror I got from a friend last year at the Gettysburg Bash. She makes these mirrors. They're called a scrying mirror. And I don't personally do it. Again, I just wanted to have it because my friend made it, and I thought it was really beautiful. And it's a very antique mirror. She's only found 3 of these ever made. So of course I had to have that. And I put it up and this is in my paranormal room, by the way, that all my weird stuff is in my paranormal. This is weird. All my stuff is in my paranormal room. You walk in my house, you would never know what I do unless you walk in that room. But I was going to take a picture one day before work just so I can post it. And you can see me on the left, it's looking on my left-hand side. You can see my arm, and I'm trying to move out of the way so I can get myself out of the picture. I took like 4 or 5 pictures, but in one picture, you see a black mass actually coming out of the wall. And I didn't, that was lightning. Did you see that? Oh, that was loud.
We heard it.
I'm sorry.
We heard it, yeah.
Wow. It was the mirror.
Upstairs in my room. That's right above me. They're like, shut up, stop talking about us. But no, you'll see a black thing coming out of the wall. And I'm on my lunch break, and I'm trying to look at the pictures to see what, and I notice it. I'm like, oh my God, did I really just capture something coming out of the wall? But I did zoom it in. So if you look at the other, you'll see it zoomed in.
So here's the zoomed in picture before the capture.
Right. So you can see on
that. This is a zoomed in picture of the mirror. Here is the mirror with the capture.
Oh yeah, you can see it. It's like,
She zooms it in, you'll really see it. And I'm like, and I was trying to, and if I remember correctly, Gretchen is sitting right on the chair there. If I remember correctly.
I'm going to go back to the one without it. Look in the corner. Now with it.
Now, do you have the zoomed in one?
Yep.
Okay.
And here's the zoomed in picture.
Oh, wow.
So go back to the unzoomed and up close. There you go.
So
Yeah,
there?
not
There to there.
Yeah.
that's an
So if there
odd
was
shadow
any,
too to be cast by anything.
yeah, and if there was any distortion in that mirror that would cause this, you would have caught it here.
Right.
Yeah. And I actually went back. I always tried to debunk everything 110% because I don't like posting anything I think that might be fake. I couldn't. It was like, well, it's a picture. It was this. It was that. I'm like, listen, I took about 300 pictures, and I could not recreate that again. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From there, and if you look really close, what is that? Like a mannequin or something you got there in the corner, Mary Jo?
A mannequin.
Scott Reddick, say
Scott,
what you
holy
think.
shit! Yeah.
Don't hold back, Scott.
Chair or something. What is that sitting down?
So what is in the chair right there with the black and white?
If I remember correctly, Gretchen's sitting in that chair.
It looks like the doll's in the middle of the chair.
The
head-
doll's in the middle of the chair. Is
Yeah,
that just like
right.
a black and white drapery over the chair that she's sitting
Oh,
in?
it's a white a blanket behind her.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It's like a fuzzy blanket. Yeah.
Okay, so you can actually see the mask coming down on top of it right there. That's pretty intriguing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out at all.
This is in her house, y'all.
I know. In a
No
room.
slumber parties at Mary Jo's.
Or at least don't sleep in that room. We're gonna put you upstairs in this room. Oh no, you're not.
I know.
All right, so let's jump into these because I don't want to miss any of them. The
No.
first one I've got is the EVP equals die. You want to tell us where that one was?
Okay, that's actually sitting right here. It was during COVID, and people wanted to see the haunted objects, and so I would go on with Ghost Box session with them. And Bill was I think he was in Virginia then at work. So I'm by myself. So usually if I do a live in my house, I'm usually by myself, which I shouldn't say this while I'm on live. But yeah, I was by myself then. And somebody actually messaged me after it. It was like 1 a.m. and said, listen, something is in your house. I said, no, it's not. Because, I'm sitting here. And she sent me the clip of it. And you hear die. And I'm like,
It's
I
loud.
literally just dropped my phone and was like, that's in my house. Because it's different when you have this stuff and it's haunted and it doesn't bother you. But when something tells you to die, that's a whole different issue. This is before I knew what Lily was. I thought they were just haunted, this and that. I didn't know it was demonic, and it hated me. But yeah, and I didn't sleep very well that night. All 3 of my German Shepherds, I actually made them go in the bathroom with me when I took a shower. I made them sleep in my bed. I was actually terrified when I heard this voice saying this, and you can clearly hear it's loud, but I didn't hear it, but everybody online heard it.
Wow.
And that's how we got the clip, because I was on live when this happened.
Oh wow.
And
Go
I was
ahead.
all by myself. There was nobody in this house at all.
All right. Here we go.
There was so much going on there, I couldn't quite hear. Did anybody catch any of that?
Wow.
Did you guys hear that? Because I didn't hear it on my screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I heard it.
I heard it, and clearly it's not coming through the spirit box. That was EVP.
Yeah, that was
Wasn't
clear
the
EVP.
spirit box, no.
That wasn't the spirit box. That was cool. That was really good.
Yeah,
Tony-
it showed me the video, but I couldn't hear it, so I wasn't sure if you guys heard it.
Yeah.
We heard
And
it.
that was one of those EVPs that doesn't sound like it's embedded in the audio. It sounds like it's floating right above it on top. That was creepy. It gave me
Yeah.
chills.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing is, I'm standing right there, and I didn't hear it at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
It is interesting how you didn't hear it, but the people watching it did. Like something with the technology, watching it through, stream. That's very interesting.
And
Well,
they actually
Tony, right
copied
there-
that off the live. She actually
Oh,
copied
wow.
off the live and sent it to me.
Oh,
Wow.
So that's
okay.
still on my Facebook wall live. And of course, I didn't know until after I cut off the live and saw that. I'm like, and then I couldn't sleep. I was like, oh my God. I mean, now I'm better now, obviously, because it's my house. But when you hear someone need to die, yeah, you can't. I couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah, no.
That's crazy.
There is an advantage sometimes to not being directly in front of or right next to what's coming out of the box. And I've noticed that when we do DRV, I mean, there's many times that somebody listening, even over social media, can hear things that I can't when it's right in front of me, and vice versa.
Right.
So
Yep.
there's something about that removed distance that clarifies sometimes what's being said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you remember I was just thinking, when we were driving back from somewhere and we couldn't be on the show the one night, we were in the car and Tony said something on the show. What was the word?
White noise.
White noise. And then we heard white noise out of the speakers in our car.
Was it 2 times or 3 times?
I thought it was twice. It was
Okay.
at least twice. Now, we had the audio off on her phone, which she was watching. We were on the telephone via Bluetooth and through the sky with Anthony Seminelli. We were getting the audio from Anthony's house on his tablet through the microphone speaker system in my car while we watched it on hers. And then we went back and looked at the broadcast, and was it there?
I don't remember. I don't remember. It wasn't there. Okay.
Nope.
And you know that it wasn't Tony's voice. It wasn't like it was like echoing. It was not that. It was a completely different voice. And it said it twice. White noise. White noise. And we both like, did we just hear white noise?
Yeah.
And it was not. That's right. Because I went back to check. Yeah.
Right.
It was
So, I mean, it could be an amplification thing through, through the networking of how you're running sound through social media. I don't know if it's anything to do with compression. It could speak very well to the fact that how we say there's no time space comparable to what we experience in our realm, because that would not make it difference
Right.
whether or not you listen to it in the environment you were in or somewhere remotely that was tapped into it. But that die is completely clear, and
Yes.
Tony's spot on that it's whispery, that it's EVP. It is not embedded in the noise coming out of the Phasma box whatsoever.
Someone asked, what do you use for protection? Which is actually a very good question since you have all those objects.
In the house, yes.
Yeah, great question.
Yeah.
Correct.
I really believe it's my faith. That's just my thing. But I did have a medium did talk to me this weekend that I met for the first time. She actually had to pull me aside. She says, you've been getting a lot of evidence in the last month or so being touched. And I said, yeah. She goes, you have a different color light. She goes, and you're getting very spiritual. You need to watch yourself. So she actually told me what to do because she knows I have the haunted objects. She says it's okay, but there's going to be other ones soon I'm going to be bringing to my house that are not going to be okay. So she basically told me how to protect myself. But usually it's just my faith. Like all my family's passed away. So I know they're with me, and she confirmed they're all with me, but that sometimes is not enough. So she kind of told me what to do, with the bubble and the pyramid. And I really have to start grounding myself because I'm coming too spiritual and my light is so different than everybody else's. That's why things are starting to see it, and they're starting to attack me because they're getting mad because I'm not answering them because I don't hear them, I don't see them, and they're getting mad. So which makes sense because in the last couple months, things have been really amped up, in locations, and I don't know why, so, but that's a new thing I have to do. But mine was always my faith. Like, God's going to protect me. I'm good. I say prayers all the time. I had the St. Michael's cards with me everywhere. We say the prayer before and after. I don't use like sage and stuff because in one video I used sage in my house, and one time I used frankincense, and that's when my whole house almost really just did like a 360 because I didn't know what I had upstairs. But she told me better things to use personally for me, but mine was always my faith in God that, that they're not going to touch me, and they haven't until recently.
Right.
Wow.
Well, sage is more of a sweep up tool.
It's like a cleanup.
Yeah, it's like a cleanup tool to get rid of that tar residual energy left over from something that you've blessed out or you've cleansed. The sage is just like sweeping out the dust, getting it off the floor, brooming the rest of the house.
Right.
So yeah, using something like that against what you have upstairs would probably be like throwing a tennis ball at a semi truck trying to stop it.
And a lot of mediums and like demonologists, they never use sage because if you have something that's demonic, it's the only thing it's going to do is make it really mad.
Yeah.
And I do believe that because I had that happen. And when I used frankincense, because we had a client that swore her house was demonic. I'm like, no, it's not. But I just wanted to make her feel better. I bought frankincense and I bought this new container. I wanted to make sure it didn't burn her house down or burn me doing it. I did it in this kitchen, and everything just went haywire after that.
Right. So Katie's got a question. What is your religious background, Mary Jo?
So I'm just Presbyterian. I'm not Catholic at all, but I'm Presbyterian. But I do bring a lot of the symbols for the Catholic Church, and I do use a lot of them. But I'm technically Presbyterian. I'm not Catholic. But I like some of the Catholic stuff. I believe like the holy water. So, like, we don't use holy water at my church, but I do. I have it upstairs. I have it in bottles everywhere. I spray it everywhere. Like I'll just go around my house and spray it. I just do. So it's a little bit of mixture of both, but technically I'm not Catholic.
Okay. Nothing against that.
No. I mean, I like the religion, don't get me wrong, because I use it. It's very good. I wasn't born Catholic. That's all.
Right. Yep. No, there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Nope.
Feel the same.
God is God.
Exactly. Like in my religion, they don't believe in spirits. They don't believe that they believe spirits are bad. Yes. And so sometimes in church, I was talking to my people in my church. I'm like, you know what? They're good spirits. I was like, I know my dad's around. I know my mom's around. And they're just like, no, they're not good spirits. They're evil. And I'm like, okay. So everybody's different. Everybody has their different thing,
Yeah, we all have our beliefs. I had a friend who was a dyslexic atheist. He didn't believe in dogs.
Damn.
Goodness.
And it has begun. We didn't warn Mary Jo before we went on the show. We're very
She knows we're stupid.
Yeah.
She already
She doesn't warn. She already knows. And she decided to come
we
on
didn't let her
anyway.
know we brought it onto the show with us. All right, Mary Jo, the next one. I'm getting out.
You want to play it or do you want to?
Let me play it.
Oh, you want to talk? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We'll play it and then you can tell us where you're at. All right, here we go.
I have to replay that one.
No. What the heck?
Yeah.
That one was hard to play.
The audio might not have been shared at that time because I heard Chris during it, not that.
Well, no, this is uploaded to StreamYard, so it should have the audio.
Okay.
Let me try that again. Yeah. You know what this is? This is one of those StreamYard bloops where I listened to the clip before we uploaded it. It's faint, but you can hear it. But StreamYard knocked it down a notch. Like it does with
And what Lourdes said, like I could hear them still, where normally if we play a clip, everything else is
Oh, it's not muting everybody, huh?
Right, that's what I was saying before, too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Interesting.
Yep.
Let me try that again and see what happens here. Let me mute everybody and then try it and see what happens.
All right.
That's just muting me.
Yeah, it's hard to hear.
Is that
It's usually really
regular
loud in the
upload?
video.
It is not, but you know what? Watch this. Let me pull up the file that I have here, and I can share it with the audio from what she sent me.
That'll work.
You can if you want to. It's not going to be bad.
Let's see if you can hear it.
What the hell do I do with it? There it is. All right, so let me share. Hopefully it's the right screen. Go ahead. All right, so we are going to... Where's the share audio button, Tony?
It's a checkbox bottom left-hand corner. When you hit share screen, it's right there. It says share audio.
Got it. Here we go. All right, here we go, everybody. Heard it. Let me play that again.
Yeah, heard it.
Yep, and that's why it was so faint on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is low, but it's there. You can hear it. It's
Yep.
faint, but it's there.
I heard it that time.
So where was that, Mary Jo?
That was at Waverly Hills in the operating room.
Oh.
And about 15 minutes after that is when something grabbed the back of my neck real hard.
Wow.
Oh.
Yep.
Well,
I'm gonna go.
let's add to that. Let's go to your next one, which is the Waverly leg touch. So it starts with the leg touch, and then it goes to the door. So let's go ahead and play that one because I know you can hear that one. And everybody watch Mary Jo's left leg just above, just above the cusp of her pants. Watch that very closely, and then she'll zoom in on it. But watch the portion of it. It's pretty cool. All right, here we go.
I could hear walking. Something just touched me. Literally, something just touched my leg. I could hear walking. Something just touched me. I hear a door. Did somebody come up here? I don't think they did. Hold on. I heard the door. I don't know if you guys heard that. I don't know if my camera picked that up. Did you guys see something run right across that room over there? Dude, I can see it. I knew I should have brought my fucking night vision camera. Damn it. You guys down here? If I'm right in one of these rooms here.
That was cool.
It was.
So you got something grabbed your leg, and you could actually see your pant leg move when you zoomed in on it. Right before you went, something touched my leg.
Yeah, and I wasn't alive because I was by myself there, and I felt safer with because I've never been there before, and I got this weird feeling when I walked in that it was going to be a weird night, like not a weird, but a bad night, and I wasn't. It was. They kept touching me, and I don't know why. And I know why now because the medium told me this weekend, but it was just weird. I've never really gotten touched like that, and it was constant.
Weird.
And nobody was with you in that whole building?
No, they were downstairs. Like there was one, two, I think there was like 4 other people there, but they were all in the basement in the chute. So that was like way down, and I think that was the 3rd floor. Yes, when I heard the door open, I'm like, but I was hearing like people whispering. And if you see when it touched me, I'm like going like, I start like, I didn't know what to run. I got really nervous, like, because there's no electricity. It's pitch black out. And that night was a full moon. Sometimes it doesn't matter. But I'm like, what should I do? And I just sat there thinking, should I go down? Like, I didn't know what to do. And then when I heard the door open, I'm like, yeah, this is my sign. I'm out of here.
You can hear the door. I heard the door open. You can hear the door open. Was that in Waverly?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can definitely. I heard the door open. Yep.
Was it just me, or when you turned and went down the hallway, did anybody else see the shadow shoot across the hall?
Yeah, from left to right.
Well, it's funny because right before that, Actually, I'm not sure if it was right before or right after. I was walking down a hallway and I saw a shadow come flying across the room. So I'm not sure if that was the same video, like because usually I just cut them to the one spot, but you had like the longer video. So that must be it because I kept on going back because there was like I just saw a shadow through. I'm like, yeah, so did I. I ran towards it, but when I look back, it was so pixelated because of it being on a live. If I would have had a regular recorder going on, it would have been fine. But
What the hell was that?
what was that?
I don't
That
know.
was someone ringing my doorbell.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm like, what is that?
Time's up. Good show.
Tap out.
That was
Well, you know what's phenomenal about that is Audra and I both saw that shadow cross.
Yeah.
Third floor at Waverly, Ghost Adventures has caught that. Nick and Katrina on Paranormal Lockdown caught the exact same thing, and Ghost Hunters have caught that third floor shadow figure cutting across too. So you caught the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Even in the operating room, I laid on the table and I kept seeing a shadow right before it grabbed my neck. I kept seeing it. And then I finally got up and I was like, listen, I know they always talk about black shadows here. I'm like, but they aren't kidding. And I was just like sitting there staring. As soon as I turned my back, that's when it went and grabbed my back of my neck. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of shadows there. Like that's probably, for me, that experience that night was probably one of the worst like paranormal experiences because they were just going after me constantly.
Right.
That whole, and I don't know because I was by myself that I was more vulnerable. I don't know, but it was just really weird.
That was awesome. That was phenomenal.
Crazy.
All right, so the next one we got is Child at the Lighthouse, Come On. So let's go ahead and play that one. Let's play that again. Listen to the beginning of that one.
It's there.
yeah. It's
That was
right
awesome.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody reacts to it. So
Nope.
I'm assuming you guys didn't hear it at all then.
And nobody
Well,
rang
it's funny
Tony's doorbell.
That's one of the places I've always wanted to investigate, and it's kind of expensive to investigate there. So we were just going there for like a trip to Disney, and that was one place we stopped. We did the nighttime paranormal thing, like the public, and there was no children there. That was 10 o'clock at night, and I said, and I knew the little girls' names. I said, "Come on, girls, let's go up on the lighthouse." And I was taking a video for TikTok to show us walking in, just to give like a background. I was going to, of course, not use any of that sound. And then like about 2 or 3 weeks later, I went to go back to clip that and I hear, "Come on." And I'm like, oh no, I just didn't get that. And it's weird because everybody left early because a lot of those people aren't investigators. They didn't want to stay real late. So I'm in a lighthouse by myself. I think I sent you the clip. And also I felt this really cold, like on my legs, on my on the bottom part. And 2 floors up is the top. So if any air would come down, it would come from the top. But there was nobody in the lighthouse but me. And all of a sudden I felt a cold draft. I'm like, oh, I felt something. And I said, "Are you here?" And also you see the lights turn on my static dome, came right towards me. But yeah, there's definitely something in that lighthouse. I want to go back there again.
So let's play it. Here it is right here.
I feel a really cold draft just come down my legs. And it would come down from the steps, not to my... See? I said I felt it. Hi, come in here. Come see the cat ball I brought for your kitty cat. See the ball? Can you go play with that? Let's play ball. Can you roll it to me, sweetie? Whoever's here, can you roll it to me? Cat, roll me the kitty cat ball right there. See, right in the middle? Can you roll it? It wasn't gonna hurt you. Just roll it to me. Let's play ball. I feel like coldness again. Okay, I think we have to pack up. I think they're leaving. I don't know what time it is. I don't have a watch on. It died. Something just shuffled up there. Is anybody up there? Did you guys hear that shuffling? I thought it was a lady coming down. It's not. That was weird.
You need to download the audio from that clip. And you're talking about the cat ball. There's voices there.
Is there?
Yes.
Was there anybody else with you at this time? You were completely
No.
alone?
I mean,
Okay.
because I was all the way up to the top. Like I said, I think there was 2 floors above me to the very top. So I don't know how many steps that is, but I know Bill stayed downstairs because he wasn't walking around. And I just wanted to investigate, and everybody was down. I don't know exactly the name of it because it was last year, but it's like it's down in the other part of the basement, like not in the lighthouse, but in the house part. Everybody went in there, and I'm like, and I said to the people that were eating outside, is there anybody up in the lighthouse? I said, absolutely not. Go ahead. So I just grabbed all my stuff and ran up there. And that's what I caught. But then nobody came up. I was by myself until they closed the lighthouse.
I have to tell you, Katie's right. You are courageous because I go off by myself, but I know there's people nearby, close by, that if something happens, I can run to them. I don't think I'd be able to do that when you do. I don't think I'd be able to do it.
Me either.
But I find when I'm by myself, I get so much evidence. That's why I like to do it. I feel like even when I have more people, I don't get nothing. But if I'm by myself, I get so much stuff.
Yeah. Well, God bless you.
Yeah, see, Frank and Little Witchy both said sounds like a child or kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to go back and listen to it now.
Yeah, you need to pull that audio out of there because there's when you're talking about the cat ball right after the lights stop, there's voices in there, and it sounds like children.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We have a very astute audience.
Yes.
They catch a
Thank
lot.
you.
Yeah.
They catch a lot. That was good.
Hey, real quick before we go to the next clip, in about 8 minutes, UNX is going to go over to their next audio program, but we are going to continue live on Facebook and YouTube with Mary Jo because she's got about 3 or 4 more good clips, 3 more that are great and fantastic clips, and we are not going to cut her short by any means whatsoever. So stick around. YouTube Live, Facebook Live is going to continue on, but at 9:57, UNX is moving on over. But stick with us. We got some good stuff coming. All right, Mary Jo, let's go to Pennhurst Scream. Let's go ahead and play that one.
Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there.
Is that a scream or a whistle?
Sounds like somebody's.
It sounds like a whistle to me.
Yeah.
You know.
Does it?
Which is just as creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost like they're going. I can't whistle. Never mind.
Do this.
I can't whistle either.
See, yeah, you can.
Nope.
Going like this doesn't make you whistle.
Doesn't work for me.
She does. She never could.
But yeah, I mean, did it sound like? Did you hear it at the moment?
No, actually, that was a live photo. I had to go downstairs. That's the time I worked there, and people were saying there was bats down there. So I just took my camera and I took a picture, and that's what you hear me say, "Hello there," or something like that. I forget exactly what my words were, and because I was talking to the bat. So I went back to play it to see if I could see it flying, so I can let them know that there's bats down that area, and that's when I heard it. But it was because it didn't come up, and I caught bats flying before. It never made that noise.
Right.
So, and that's not a bat noise.
No.
It was weird because the bat was flying. I had a bunch of videos or pictures of the bat flying around, and that was the only clip that I got of that noise.
Yeah.
But then again, Pennhurst is very good with whistles too. I've gotten a lot of whistles.
Yeah.
You know, not just that one, but to me, I kind of thought of it as a scream, but it probably does sound like a whistle to some people. You know.
Yeah. And we actually had one viewer comment a screech owl, but that's the basement of Pennhurst, right?
That was the basement, yeah.
Yeah, you're not gonna get an owl in the basement. No.
Yeah.
Can you play that one more time, Chris?
Yeah. Let me go ahead. Here we go.
Stay there. Stay there. Stay there. Stay there.
Like trying to get your attention.
It sounds like a whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whistle. Yeah.
Which is almost creepier because a scream could be in Pennhurst could be a residual, but a whistle is trying to get your attention, which infers intelligence.
Yeah.
Creepy. And you were down there by yourself again, weren't you?
Yeah. 'Cause everybody else had to stay upstairs, and I had to go downstairs. I think it was in the maintenance building, if I remember correctly.
She was
And I had to go down there and check it out.
Yeah, with bats, let alone the ghosts. She was there with bats. I was like,
Hey, let me give you a concept, y'all. Everybody knows Chris isn't afraid of anything. I wouldn't go into the Penhorse basement by myself. I'd go, okay, I'm gonna just dip in. I'm gonna dip right back out. Mary Jo's down there for minutes at a time. So I have to agree with Katie.
Yeah.
I have to tell you one story real fast. When I worked at Penhurst, I had to open up the buildings before the groups would come in, like the private groups. And I was walking into Devon and opened up the building, and I walked in, and off to the side, I saw, if people saw the ring, that I'm talking about, a child, the hair over the face, curly, wet, and like in a dress. And I remember looking at it like, I am not seeing this. And there's nobody in the building. There's nobody on campus, period. Not even the cops, security yet. I'm like, oh no. And I just kept walking like I didn't even see it. But I must have stared at it for at least, it felt like a minute, but it might have been like 30 seconds. That whole night, I was totally off. I'm like, what was that? Like, I knew it was a child, but to me, it looked like the ring, like the ring girl. And it really freaked. I didn't tell people for the longest time. And then somebody said that's a little girl named Emily. I'm like, listen, I don't believe that was a child. It was so scary looking. And every time I go past Devon, like that area, I just can't even do it. Like it freaks me out. But again, I had to go in there to go across, lock it. And that night I had to go back there at 2 a.m. and lock that same door, knowing that thing was standing right there. But you have to do what you have to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it literally looked like the ring girl.
Yes.
The ring.
The hair in the face, black. I didn't see a face, and she was wet.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Anybody think that's a child? You crazy?
Yeah.
I don't think it was. I personally didn't feel like it was.
Well, a child's not going to present itself to you, no matter how angry the child is. It's not going to present itself to itself. Every show.
Yep.
Every show. It's not going to present itself to you in that. See, look at Ron.
Right.
It's not going to not in that form. I mean, to look like the girl from The Ring, that's pretty malicious, nasty.
Yeah.
All right. All right, Mary Jo. The next one we got Red Mill Shadow. Here we go.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Yeah.
Awesome. What exactly was at the bottom of the stairs? What was that, a basement?
It was a room. It was probably like I would say like a 9x9 room. So I took a picture and I kind of saw it and I stopped talking. I'm like, huh. So that's why we ran down there and looked, and there was nothing in that basement at all, like that little room.
That's the Red Mill in New Jersey, right?
Right.
I've been there once before. That looked like something at the bottom by the stairway door.
Right, it was peeking.
Like a black mass almost like slithered around or slid around the door frame.
All right.
Like to me, it looked like it was walking this way, and I caught like the end of it. Yeah.
It's the end of it. It looks like the tail end of it.
You want to play it again?
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's play it again.
Yes, please.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the third floor was all finished.
Yeah, it's almost like you caught it just as it crested the corner.
Yeah, like that last footstep kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Was it nighttime when that was taken? The only reason I ask is because there's a post, and it's producing two shadows from different directions that you can see the shadows on the floor. So I'm just curious if that's artificial light, like light bulbs, or if it was coming through a window. I think you said it was nighttime.
It was nighttime. Yeah.
So there was a light or two on in the room.
Yeah, there should. Yeah, that was light in the room. That wasn't from daylight. It was dark outside.
Okay.
which means that the light would have projected those two shadows, but those shadows wouldn't be moving.
Right.
Right.
The shadows weren't moving, but play it one more time and just see what, because there's 2 light sources in the room.
Right. Here we go.
Something totally different.
They said the 3rd floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the 3rd floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the 3rd floor was all finished.
Something totally different.
They said the 3rd floor was all finished.
And that's interesting.
That's
You're right.
very-
That's a great observation. That's an attention to detail. There
Right.
are, especially on the close-up, you see the column, and there's two shadows being cast off that same column. Not
which
the
means
one
that which means that column's sitting like this, and there's like a light bulb here and a light bulb over here, which are casting this shadow here and this shadow here.
Correct.
This shadow that moves over here, it shouldn't be moving. It shouldn't be moving at all.
Right.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's a nice catch because most people would look past that.
Yeah.
Yep. I would.
So that's a really good catch. That's a really good observation, Mary Jo, because most people would be doing review and not even catch that little slight movement of that shadow down there that shouldn't be there.
most people, not the lady in the basement with the bats with the whistling. No.
Yeah. By herself.
By herself.
By herself.
Yeah, that's a very good catch. That's an attention to detail as well, because a lot of people would just watch the video and go, "Oh, nothing spooky happened next," you know. But that's really, it's subtle, but it's there.
Yeah. And man, you really have to have a quick eye when you're doing review, hours upon hours of review to catch that shadow. That's phenomenal, Mary Jo. Good catch.
Thank you.
Most people know that would have been a wasted piece of evidence.
Yep.
All right. The last piece
Tony pointed out too, because what Tony pointed out, I think vets it even more.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, everybody.
We love our Tony.
So for everybody watching, if we don't have our normal flow of enthusiasm, one, it's Monday night, and two, everybody but Tony has been at Gettysburg Bash all weekend, Battlefield Bash all weekend long, and we are wiped. And this is not a paranormal hangover from investigating. This is a Battlefield Bash paranormal hangover.
This is a party hangover.
This is a party hangover. And a DRV session with Ron and Lourdes till 2:30 in the morning before we left at 7 the next morning hangover.
And then drove 7.5 hours.
Yeah, then drove 7.5 hours. And for everybody watching, Mary Jo didn't leave the bash till late afternoon and didn't get to bed till 2 and was up at 6 and went to work this morning.
Yeah, man.
And I didn't get home until like 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight.
Wow.
Oof.
Cray.
So sorry if we don't have our normal glitter and gold flashing around tonight.
Yeah, that's why I'm
But it
having
was a phenomenal weekend. Coffee at 9 o'clock at 10 o'clock at night.
Yep, that's why I have coffee. See,
And won't miss 1 minute of sleep once we get off the show.
Nope.
All right, so the last one we have, yeah, Audrey can't do it. She'd be bouncing off the walls all night.
That's why I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Light flickers at the Conjuring House.
Ooh.
All right, let's take a look.
Mom got possessed, and she got thrown from one of the chairs into the other room, landed in the other room, and like cracked her head open. And then Roger went over to help his wife, and he's like, "No, don't touch her. She's possessed. You could get possessed." Just turned it on and off. Just turned it on.
As we're talking about this,
Yeah.
from across the room, yeah.
So then, this is like, I guess this. So,
Okay.
you don't like us talking about this? Are we telling it right? Yeah. So, I guess Roger said, well, Andrews told us that he went over to help his wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So
Did
didn't
I
like
send Did I send you a clip with a ball getting thrown too?
There was one video that was corrupt and I couldn't download.
Okay, so that's probably the ones I had 4 of them. Yeah, that night was the first that I went there, and that was in 2019. That was right after Ghost Adventures was there, and how it's I had the phone set up. I was just listening to the guy tell us the story about the Conjuring house, and because I didn't watch the movie before, because I don't watch TV, and he was telling us about the Warrens and about the exorcism, and all of a sudden, if anybody's ever, because you don't see the light, because it's just I just have it recorded to hear him and his story, so I can remember, or if I catch anything, I kind of remember the story. It's kind of like the poltergeist when they're in the kitchen and they go, zzz, and that's exactly what it's doing. I'm just like laughing, and the other girl that I had with me, I thought she was going to start to cry. It was that scary, but I'm like, oh my god, this is not happening right now. And you think I would say you think I would grab my phone and go up, but I was just like, is this really does this really happen? It was insane, but you could see it like flickering, and it was only when he talked about the exorcism and the seance that they did. Every time you talk about anything in the seance at that house, it doesn't like it.
Wow. And it didn't happen again, only that specific moment?
When I was upstairs, I slept in the middle bedroom, and at that time, nobody slept upstairs. Everybody was afraid to sleep upstairs, but there you go. I'm up there, and I'm in that middle bedroom, and that light was on the whole time because I felt something staring at me in that one on the left-hand side or right-hand side bedroom, and the light and the Conjuring. Remember, I don't know if anybody watched it, but Ghost Adventures, they had the light flickering on, and that did happen. I'm sitting there looking at it. I'm like, oh god, come on, just stop. I want to sleep for an hour. Just stop. And then as soon as I fell asleep, that's when the ball got thrown across the room in the other room, and I caught that on video, and it rolled around and went in the middle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's probably the one that was corrupt because
I was wondering what the one that was corrupt was. That sucks. But let me add to the light flicker. So there might be people out there that go, well, it's an older house. It might flicker. It might be electrical. But let me teach you something about electrical. Even if that electrical line has a short in it, somebody else has to be moving in the house. And the wire has to be vibrating in order for it to interrupt the electricity flow to cause it to flicker. The other thing that might cause it to flicker, if it's a suspended wire light. So you'll see it in some of the old decorative lights. They have the 4 prongs that come down from the top, and they each got a circle on it. And there's one wire that goes through each one of the circles, and that's the wire that lights up, that conducts the light source. 9 times out of 10, that's not on the ceiling. 99.9% of the light bulbs that they create nowadays have a solid filament in it that doesn't move. Okay? And even if it did have that wire light, it would be the same thing as having a short in a wire in the ceiling or in the wall or something. Something has to be moving it enough to vibrate it enough to make it jiggle enough. And even then, it would have to jiggle pretty hard in order to flicker the lights to cause the darkness and the lightness and the darkness and the lightness. So physically, in a situational awareness situation, that light couldn't have flickered like that unless the electricity was interrupted by an outside source. Whether it be spiritual, physical, or anything like that. So in order for that light to do that, or a short within the house because the house being older, somebody had to be walking upstairs because the light was hanging from above. So the short would have been on the wire above. Mary Jo, was there anybody upstairs?
No, but I don't know if the clip, because I couldn't hear it, but there was like a thung, like a weird bung noise, and he laughs. He has this thing upstairs that was, I guess, picking up sound. That went off right above us, and then that's when the lights start flickering, but there was nobody upstairs. All three, it was only 3 of us, him and me and another girl, and we were all sitting around that table.
Okay, so no physical movement could have moved the floor upstairs by anybody physically alive in a meat suit.
Was there anybody physically upstairs?
Right.
No, we were all sitting at that table.
So that completely eliminates that opportunity. So.
And I've been there probably over 10 times, and I've never had it happen ever since.
Oh.
Wow.
Never.
You guys want to see it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
All right, here we go.
Mom got possessed, and she got thrown from one of the chairs into the other room, landed in the other room, and like cracked her head open. And then Roger went over to help his wife, and he's like, "No, don't touch her. She's possessed. You could get possessed." Just turned it on and off. Just turned it on.
As we're talking about this,
yeah.
From across the room, yeah.
So then, this is like, I guess this.
Okay.
You don't like us talking about this? Are we telling it right? Yeah. So, I guess Roger said, Andrews told us that he went over to help his wife.
All right.
There's a whisper in there. There's
That's what I was just going to say. Are there 2 or 3 people around the recorder?
So the one guy was next to me on the left, and the other girl was across from me.
Okay, because there is another voice in there.
Right. We heard it too.
Yeah, I just thought maybe it was the other girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I wasn't sure how many were there.
Yeah, because he said something about are we telling it right or something, and you hear
Yeah,
you
there's a
hear
whisper
whisper.
there.
I mean,
Yep.
I'll have to
Sounds like an
listen to it.
Sounds like an EVP.
Yeah,
I know what
that was
it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, because on my phones, I just listen to it on my phone. I don't ever put headphones on, which maybe I should start doing. But that was from like 2019. So back then, I definitely didn't use headphones. But maybe I'll try and see if I can hear it tonight with putting headphones on.
You guys want to listen again?
Yeah.
Yeah, one more time.
All right, here we go.
Mom got possessed, and she got thrown from one of the chairs into the other room, landed in the other room, and like cracked her head open. And then Roger went over to help his wife, and he's like, "No, don't touch her. She's possessed. You could get possessed." Just turned it on and off. Just turned it on.
As we're talking about this,
Yeah.
run across the room, yeah.
So then, this is like, I guess this is. So,
Okay.
you don't like us talking about this? Are we telling it right? Yeah. So, I guess Roger said, Andrews told us that he went over to help his wife.
So yeah, there is a voice in there. There's a whisper that he does towards the end of the video, but right after the other girl sitting with you chuckles, there is a voice in there because I cranked this thing up. There is a voice in there that's not hers. It's a different vocal tone.
Okay.
When he says, am I telling it right? It sounds like a whisper, but it doesn't have the same tonality to it. Even though he gets to a whisper-ish sound at one point, there's still a vibratory tone to his whisper that one does not have.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I heard too.
Very interesting.
Like the difference between if you're watching a movie at home, when you add the subwoofer into something, you get a little bit of that palpable vibration. You mean to it? You can feel the hum to the voice.
Yep.
But not that one.
Yeah.
Well, you can also hear the other girl sitting there. She chuckles a little bit after the noise makes, and you can tell that the tonality is not his and the tonality is not hers too.
Yeah, because there is something there too. Those are two instances. The second one, though, I really don't know if it's him because he may have whispered something. I don't know. But the first one, I also heard that one. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Thank you, Genghis.
Genghis Khan been with us for hundreds of years. The guy's phenomenal.
And we all look so good for 100
We
years
do.
old.
A little bit of Just for Men, you look fantastic. All right, Mary Jo, we have reached the point in the show that we call the shameless plugs. Where are you? Where can you be found? Where can people see your stuff? What do you got coming up?
So, my Facebook is Penn Paranormal. That's all it is. For Facebook, you can look at our Penn PS. It's probably easier because there's 2 Penn Paranormals on there. But yeah, if you look at our Penn PENN PS, you'll find us. Same thing with Instagram. They're all the same. And the next thing we're actually doing, we go to White Hill next week, but we're doing this thing for the Clifton Theater, which to help raise money for them because they're, I guess, falling behind. So that is, I think, September 10th. Like we're doing a Conjuring movie. They get free popcorn. It's not, they can investigate it. It's a haunted theater. And then I'm going to bring my Annabelle replica, so people can take pictures with it because it's going to be one of the Annabelle Conjuring movies. So we're just trying to do that to raise money for the theater so they don't close down. It's a good theater, and it's just a small town in COVID, and it really got hit hard. So we're just trying to help make sure it stays open. It's a really good place to go, even for paranormal.
Cool. And they can find you in TikTok too, right?
Yeah, TikTok. Yeah, same thing. Penn Paranormal. Yeah, but please don't judge me with TikTok. TikTok's different than everything else. You have to do the funny. We try to do the viral videos, and you kind of do it paranormal style. To get the younger people into the paranormal. And I do throw some stuff in there, but
it's more fun. Fun and lighthearted.
Yeah, not lightheaded.
Lightheaded, not lightheaded.
Yeah.
Lightheaded, yeah.
I want to do some of this dumb stuff with the haunted dolls because they all love that stuff, and I do stupid little memes and stuff with them because they all like that,
Yeah.
So
right.
My daughter loves your videos.
I know.
Videos.
That video was fun. You got to admit that was fun.
The video was fun that we did. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. That is awesome. So we want to reach out. We want to thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Who am I missing, Tony? Scott from Piedmont Paranormal. Ronald with ERRT Radio. Carrie was here.
Katie.
Katie Holte.
Katie Holte, Genghis Khan, Carrie Hopper, Rebecca Jackson.
Ben Jenkins.
Melissa Blackman.
Yeah.
ERRT Radio.
Tabitha
Eric
Meadows.
House of Rock. Scott Riddick. A Little Witchy.
A Little Witchy. That is Maureen.
Melissa
We met her at the Gettysburg Bash. She will be on in a few weeks.
Blackman. Rachel Lewis.
Cherie Rathman.
I was about to say, I heard an EVP.
I heard an EVP. It sounded like a little Asian woman.
Doing EVP.
That was like direct voice. I heard that.
I'm hearing voices from behind the screen. What the hell is that? That is awesome. Kathy Casanova was here. Melissa Blackman, man, she is phenomenal.
I know.
That lady pumps our show up so much. She is just phenomenal. Her and Katie make us look really good. Frank Barone was with us.
Yep.
Rachel Lewis,
Anton Ritter.
Yep.
Yes. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah. Mary Jo, you brought a lot of people with you because some of these people are new names we haven't seen before. So that's fantastic.
Awesome.
That is really fantastic.
Yeah. Cool.
Sorry, guys, we didn't have our normal punch of energy tonight because we don't have the punch or the energy left over after Gettysburg Bash. It was a phenomenal time. We did pretty good. I want to promote next week. I've got a lot of review to do because we've decided to do an Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence reveal show of some of our stuff that we've captured.
No way.
Yeah, no way.
Who's going to be on?
The fool.
Look at Tony.
Us fools.
Tony's like
That's fools.
And again, we want to thank Mary Jo for stopping it. Mary Jo, you are a phenomenal lady. It was so fantastic meeting you in person at the Gettysburg Bash. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming on. We know how tired you are because we are there with you.
Yeah. She was 30 minutes late for work today uploading those videos.
She was.
Thank you, love.
Yeah, I was like lowered on my look at the clock. I'm like, oh no, and I'm like trying to rush to work, and I'm like, and then I'm at lunch sitting there trying to download them. That's probably the one that got corrupted because it was doing we don't have very good internet at our work because it's the medical field.
Yeah, it was. It was one of the later ones. You're right. Yeah,
and that's sad because that was the good ones. That was the really good EVPs and stuff like that because I couldn't get them to all go together. But
see if you can resend it if you can send that just by itself to me, and then next week when we're doing our show, we'll play it and say this is the one Mary Jo missed that we wanted to make sure you guys had.
Okay, I'll send them.
We'll play it next week. Send it to us. That's fantastic. And thank you, Mary Jo. Everybody out there don't realize that I'm the guy that reaches out to everybody to get the evidence on the show, and I'm a pain in the ass.
He's relentless.
She'll verify.
He's effective.
I'm effective. I like that term better. I'm effective pain in the ass. That is awesome. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Next week, same time, same channel. and make sure that if this is a hard one because I have nothing to compare it to because Mary Jo does everything by herself. So the tagline tonight is going to be a difficult one, but if you want to catch some phenomenal evidence, you've got to have Mary Jo's eye, you've got to have Mary Jo's intuitiveness, and you've got to have Mary Jo's guts in order to stay haunted. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Bye.
Can you give me a name? What's your name?